And we're back. Sorry about that. So when you look at like what CJ Stroud was doing with the weapons that he has, it just it makes his playing at more elite, in my opinion, because of just the way he can perform. But not having Tank Dell is a massive issue. I truly believe that. Um, but yeah, like losing him, I think that's as much as you beat Denver and that you gotta reward yourself for that. Not having Tank Dell for the remainder of the season is a problem, and I want to see how D'Amico Ryan figures out this next wide receiver position. I truly want to see that because he was your explosive player. But if it's me, I think D'Amico Ryan figured it out. Now, moving on, we talk about the Niners versus the Philadelphia Eagles. This was going to be a fight. This was a fight. This was a 12-round fight. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago when the Cowboys went against the Eagles. More so is this game. This was like an old 15-round fight, except there was a lot less punching and a lot more let's dance around and see what happens. So, what I mean by that is the Eagles strike first to kick 2 field goals. But then the Niners score a touchdown, and then that was it for the Eagles offense for the first half. They didn't do anything. 3 straight games, they go down the field and they don't score in the first. They don't get past 7 points in the first half. And I said this last week, I said the week before, you want to beat these teams, you got to be able to score more than 7 points in the first half. And that's what happened here. They go against San Francisco, they don't score more than 7 points in the first half. They get behind the sticks. Jalen Hurts gets hurt early in this game. Gets hurt in this game. Takes a really tough shot as he's going down. Gets kind of just hit straight in the face, in the head with the shoulder pad. Gets taken out. Goes to concussion protocol. They go into the blue tent. They go back into the locker room, and then he's cleared. He comes right back out. Whether or not he was actually cleared, we won't probably ever know. But he goes back into that game, and we'll talk about this more in the recap. But I think that's an issue for him. This game they were not very good. They started out pretty well, and then it was nothing. There was nothing to it, and there was no turnovers on Jalen's part, but it was just there was nothing, and I think that's a problem. And you can't say the offensive line was at fault for this game because Jalen Hurts wasn't getting exactly pressured. There was just great coverage everywhere, and Jalen just saying, "Okay, I'm just gonna stand back here." But eventually, time runs out, and you gotta get rid of the ball, and that's not what he was doing. But I do wanna we're gonna talk more about the fights in a bit in the recap portion. And, before we get into the recaps, there are a couple injuries I want to talk about. First off, Derrick Henry in concussion protocol. We'll see if he's fine. He got hurt in the fourth quarter in the loss against the Colts. Let's see if he's okay. Um, Kenny Pickett had ankle surgery today, suffered an ankle injury against the Cardinals. He's out for 2 to 4 weeks. Mitch Trubisky will take over. I mean, you got New England, and then you get 10 days. Okay, you can probably work with that. Derek Carr suffered a couple injury, including in concussion, so he's back in concussion protocol for the second time this year. Patriots running back Rhamondre Stevenson suffered an ankle injury in the first quarter. Kind of looks like a hip tackle, a hip drop hip tackle. I mean, and a lot of defenders, including the Patriots players, have defended that tackle. It's like, look, there's not much we can do. We're trying to get you to the ground. You're affecting us how we're going to play. So that's how we're going to talk about it. All right, our game recap. So to begin the game recap, we went 4-0 this week, so we're 42 and 28. Let's first begin with the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys beat the Seahawks in Arlington, Texas, 41-35 in a game, well, where the offense really had to show out. The defense was not great. They were in the final 5 minutes, but not in the first like 50 minutes. They were not very good. No punts in this game. That's the fifth NFL game in NFL history since the merger that there was no punts. That no one punted in this game. But if I was to mention this, I will say this right now. You're lucky that Dak Prescott's in the MVP conversation. The way he's playing, he won you that game. He made a play where he looks like he's getting sacked by Taylor and escapes the tackle, escapes the sack, and throws the ball and gets a first down. Like the refs were about to blow the whistle, and then they just said, "No, wait, no, he's out. He's out of there." And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna throw the ball. Let's go." I'm acknowledging I'm gonna throw the ball, and that's what he did. It was a great job by Dak. Great game for Dak. 3 touchdowns. The numbers don't look that impressive, but you get a touchdown from CeeDee Lamb, a touchdown from Brandin Cooks, a touchdown from your tight end Jake Ferguson, who had a good game as well. You did your job. There was a lot of penalties in this game. That's all I can say. It was a good job by the Cowboys. Seattle showed up to play on offense, had a tough time scoring prior to this game. They showed out, just couldn't hold on in the end. I will say this. The Cowboys did get some defensive stops late in the game. You get a pick by DaRon Bland, who was just getting burned all day. Gave up 2 touchdowns to DK Metcalf. Almost gave up a third one to Jackson Smith-Njigba. That was overturned as an incomplete pass. But DaRon Bland had a tough game, came back, got an interception. That's being a physical and a tough-minded player is saying, okay, it hasn't gone well. It's all right. Let's get it done and go and make a play. That's what you do. You got to be tough-minded and you got to have a short-term memory as a corner. That's what you got to do. That's what he did. So